Okay, first adaptation is sunken stomata in ceropites. As I told you in the previous exam question, write three main method to increase the sustainability of food. And here, can we ask a question? Write three main anatomical adaptation that's shown by the organism like that. So sunken stomata in cerophyte. The other one is viviparity of mangroves. So viviparity of mangroves. Now, what is this plant? These plants are called mangroves, and these mangroves growing in area where the salt level of water is very high. For example, lagoons. So we have very nice mangroves in certain places. This picture is taken from Putlam lagoons. Putlam lagoons. There are a lot of mangroves. Now these mangroves grow in this salt water, and they're very important plant species in this ecosystem. And they have a adaptation. This adaptation is called viviparity. Viviparity is the adaptation. Now, what is viviparity? So viviparity we usually use in many places. You will learn this word. If organism after fertilization and this organism keep the embryo inside the body, it's called viviparity. So human shows the viviparity because the embryo develop inside the uterus of the mother, inside the body of the mother. So if it is developed inside the body, we call viviparity. Opposite is oviparity. Oviparity is fertilized. The fertilized embryo released out of the body as egg. This develop inside the egg, not in the body. So we're going to learn this thing again and again, but here you can understand what is viviparity and oviparity. Viviparity is growing inside the body during the fetus embryonic life. And why this apply to the plant now? Because we know that plant reproduction this is the male and female parts of the flower. This is the stigma, and this is the anther. And anther produce pollen grain. The pollen grain deposit on stigma. After that, they develop a tube into this ovary, and inside the ovary, we can find ovum. And the cells coming from this male generative gametes and the female generative gamete, they fused. After fusion, the flower produce a fruit. That means whole ovary change into the fruit, and the ovule change into the seed. Inside the seed, we have the embryo now. And we know a new plant we can produce from the seed. If the seed is going to another place, and then a seed can make a new plant. This is how the basic biology explained us plant reproduce to make a new plant in sexual reproduction. Okay, when it comes to viviparity in some mangroves, how it happen if the mangrove tree is like this? And this mangrove tree, mangroves, they have again fruits like this. So this is the fruit of the mangrove. And this fruit start to germinate in this place. That means they start to make roots and they start to make shoots out. And these are the roots. So germinate inside the original plant. It is attached to the original plant here. And this is a fruit. And eventually they can grow roots into the water levels. And this again become a new plant. After that, they can detach. So they can separate from the original one and a new plant can form. Why is that? Because if the seed fall into the water because of the salt content and low oxygen content, it is difficult to germinate. So they have this adaptation, germination happen and the growth happen as it is attached to the plant. The fruit is still attached to the plant and it make a new plant now. This is called viviparity of mangroves. And the other third one is given splayed out foot of the camel. Now, if the camel trying to walk on sand, the sand is very tiny particles. So if we place a object here, it is going into the deeper of the sand because sand is so tiny and legs like thing can bury it into the sand. But when they have this big splayed out, divided into two food, and it has so much of fat layer which try to float on the sand, and the large surface area also helping to stay on the sand. So then camel's legs, camel body is not going into the sand. This is another adaptation listed in animals. So there are three adaptations listed. These are sunken stomata in ceropods, viviparity in mangroves, splayed out foot of the camel. So we have to remember these three things. I hope you understand these three things. Okay, next thing, uh, order and organization, metabolism, growth, and development, adaptation, irritability and coordination, reproduction. R is for reproduction. So this is ability to produce offspring. So offspring refers to any next generation of organism. It could be human, it could be plant, it could be animal. We call offspring. Otherwise, we have to use a different word. Ability to produce children. So we avoid these words, ability to produce offspring common to any living organism. So this is reproduction. The last thing, end, evolution. Again, living thing show evolution. What is evolution? If you look at this picture, you can notice the body shapes are changing. First thing you notice, body shapes are changing. And this is a timeline. And this is a species, human species. We can notice these things. This is human species. We can see a timeline, body shapes is changing. So evolution is change of appearance. In biology, we use another correct term for this one. So appearance is a word that you can understand. We use change of morphology over long period of time in a species. That means whole population. It's not one organism, it's a whole human population. So change of appearance of morphology over long period of time in a species is the evolution. So this is important for the survival of organism. So again, we're going to learn evolution as a separate lesson. So here we just list all the 7 characteristics of living organisms. So if we look again these 7 characteristics, there is a chance in exam to list the 7 characteristics. You'll be asked to list the 7 characteristics. Or you will be asked to define growth and development. Define growth, define development. Because these 2 questions have been asked. Irritability and coordination separate lesson will not come. This can be asked, what are the main adaptations showed by organism, living organism? List 3 adaptations showed by the living organism. This question has been not asked, chance of asking. We're going to learn again these things. So I don't think uh, typical question will ask. Reproduction we're going to learn, evolution we're going to learn. So still this unit, the asking question is very less, but still we spot these are the area question can be asked because some question asked before. Last thing is hierarchical level of organization of living thing. Now I told you atom, elements, compound, and compound make cells. From that point onward, living things are changing from other non-living things because cell is the basic functional living unit of living organism. So then we have to go forward with these things, molecules, then molecules, large molecules join together, carbohydrate, lipid, proteins, water, these kind of molecules join together to make structures called organelles. Example, mitochondria. Mitochondria is inside the cell. And then organelle collect together to make the cells. Then cells join together to make a organ. Example, brain. And all the different kind of organ join together to make a organ system. Then the organ system make organism. Now cell make at the end organism at different hierarchical level. Now the organism again contribute to make the next level population. Number of individual in a species is a population. Now, different populations join together to make communities, and these are the communities. So giraffe is one community, and this bacteria is one community, and this ants one community, and the fish one community, and this cranes one community. So we can find in a place many communities like this. Finally, all communities make this ecosystem. In ecosystem, you can find living, non-living, and their interactions. Sunlight is non-living. Soil is non-living. Wind is non-living. And they are there with living things like this insect, bacteria, plants, fungi, and they interact with each other for existence. So many ecosystems make biome. Biome is a collection of ecosystems. So large ecosystem collect. Desert is a biome. Desert is a large area. It has different ecosystems. Finally, it makes the biosphere. So again, how many levels we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So order of this 11, you need to remember, and you will remember this order when you learn many things. This automatically this order is coming because we know biosphere, biome, everything we know, and we're going to learn this thing. It is coming up. Okay. So this is the end of this lesson. Unit 1. It's a small lesson. Usually we could do in a 1-2 class with the introduction.